At least 290 people are now confirmed dead. And while it'll be some time before they've all been identified, the process of mourning has begun, with funerals for those whose bodies have been returned to their families. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's security forces have now been granted sweeping powers, not used since the country's civil war ended 10 years ago. Among those powers, more latitude to arrest and interrogate suspects. Now, the attacks weren't just deadly, they were precise, carefully coordinated. Today, the government pointed the finger at a little-known Islamist group that has made threats in the past, but the blame may go beyond them. Our Paul Hunter begins our coverage with the latest on the investigation.
Shattering nerves today in Colombo, freshly found bombs detonated as authorities tried to defuse them. No one was hurt. This as police focused on those key questions: who's behind the Easter Sunday attacks and why? Security video out today shows a man with a backpack. Say church officials, it holds a bomb. Here's another sobering view. Meanwhile, the Times of India published these photos said to depict some of the suicide bombers. Yet while those images and the scale of the attack suggest it's the work of an established, well-funded terror group, neither ISIS nor Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility.
Information about everything.
Sri Lanka now points to a small Islamic group called National Tawfiq Jamaat.
This is a local organization, but we don't know whether they have been linked to the outside.
But as investigators target that group, it's amid continued fury that some Sri Lankan authorities had been warned attacks were imminent, with intelligence naming that same Islamic group, along with word prominent churches were at risk. Those who were warned failed to act. Now, as Interpol and the FBI have joined Sri Lankan investigators, the U.S. calls this America's fight too.
We urge that any evildoers be brought to justice expeditiously, and America is prepared to support that.
My mom and her husband.
Then there's the story of Sarnia, Ontario's Leewardson Vijayabalan.
So we just said we'll wait till lunch, and that was the difference maker.
He's visiting Sri Lanka with family and had plans for brunch yesterday at the Shangri-La Hotel, one of the places hit that morning. They canceled on a whim. Now, learning Islamic extremism may have landed in a country where that kind of violence was unheard of.
It's never been about religion. This is something new, and we definitely don't know how big of a threat it is, because there's no history there.
As so many Sri Lankans now fear, perhaps not anymore. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
One of the single deadliest explosions was at St. Sebastian's Church in the city of Negombo. Today, the priest who was presiding over that Easter service at the time described what he saw.
There were children, there were women, and all close by, and all were blown off almost.
Hard to even imagine, but we are learning more about some of the victims tonight, who they were and where they were from. Popular Sri Lankan celebrity chef Shanta Mayadun was enjoying Easter breakfast with her family at Colombo's Shangri-La Hotel. This photo was posted just before the blast killed her and her daughter. A spokesperson for Danish retail billionaire Anders Holch Pavelsen confirmed that he lost 3 children in the attacks. The family was also reportedly staying at the Shangri-La. And a man from Colorado, Dieter Kowalski, had just checked into the Cinnamon Grand Hotel when he died in that explosion. Also confirmed dead are citizens of Britain, the United States, India, China, Turkey, Australia, Spain, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Japan, and Portugal. Now, you will have noticed Canada was not on that list. So far as anyone knows, no Canadians were killed or even hurt. But many in this country's Sri Lankan community are shaken. Their grief palpable tonight at 2 vigils to honor the victims.
Dear fellow Sri Lankans and dear friends, Sri Lanka has been a peaceful country throughout centuries. Sri Lankan welcome all kinds of people with compassion and love.
satta bhavantu sukhi sat.
We had just come back from Easter Vigil service ourselves here in Scarborough, so it was devastating. I guess nowhere in the world is really, safe from this type of event, and we just have to come together and to be able to talk about what's going on and figure out ways in which we can help.
And one last note on all of this tonight. Global Affairs Canada is still warning Canadians to use extreme caution in Sri Lanka. There's always a chance there could be another attack.